Okay, hey everyone. Thank you so much for all your comments on the giveaway. That was amazing. I was really touched actually by all the lovely things that you said, and I've really taken them on board. A lot of people asked for Kim Kardashian, so I'm doing a Kim Kardashian look today. And also a lot of people said that they quite like the older videos. I think, you know, I was in my own flat and I was kind of having a bit of a laugh with it, and I think that's really great that you like those. So actually I'm in my new flat today that I now have moved, and I live with a parrot. So I'm hoping he doesn't squawk. He's not mine, he's my flatmate's. Yeah, so let's see how it goes. Maybe I'll be more humorous again because I'm in my own surroundings, not in the studio. Okay, so I'm gonna start with skin base. This is Prep and Prime. I've been using the number 7 one a lot, but I went to a MAC masterclass a couple of weeks ago and saw I'll tell you for his name's really bad. Peter Rob Knight, I think. Double barrel name. He's an amazing makeup artist, and he's done so many films. He did the Rocky Horror Show, and he's done stacks of films. They've totally escaped me now because I'm being a bit stupid. But it was great, and in the goodie bag was the Prep and Prime, which feels so silky. So yeah, it's really nice. It's quite similar to the number 7, but it's nice just to use different things so you guys get to see different products, not always the same things. And then in my giveaway I gave this foundation away, so I'm going to use it today. I'm using shade 200, it's soft beige, which is the best kind of shade for my skin. And I'm just using my fingers today rather than a brush. No reason. Okay, so Kim's brows are pretty full. They look to me like they've got powder on them, because they're quite smooth. Like when you use pencil, the kind of lines are a little bit harder, and hers just looks really soft. So I think, and there's no gaps. It looks like the whole thing's been filled in with a shadow. So I'm using Embark, which I use quite a lot on for like dark brows. This is just an angled brush. Everything with Kim is really neat and symmetrical, like really perfect, neat brows, perfect skin. They're quite full as well, so you might want to go just slightly over your actual brows. And they sort of come down to about here. The arch isn't really defined, it's actually quite rounded. And that beginning area, she's got good eyebrow hair. It always kind of looks like you can see the hairs at the beginning there, so go through afterwards and just kind of comb. Okay, so brows done. Right, now we're going to go on to Kim's eyes. I'm just using a big flat brush for this, because actually what she does is kind of a bit of the reverse of what I would normally do, or what you see in a lot of people, because she actually has like a really light colour here and then sort of gold all the way up to her brows, and then she has a lot of gold underneath. And normally I would shade this area in a bit darker, but she has that all very, very warm and golden. So I'm going to use Casino. This is a MAC shadow. Can you hear Rufus? It's walking away. And I'm probably going to mix it with a little bit of Amber Lights. But I think Amber Lights is going to be better for underneath. So I'm just looking over there because I've got my picture. And Casino's, because it's a little bit, you don't want it too bright all the way up to there, because you're going to look like a drag queen, and that's not what we want. So yeah, and just use a tiny amount, because otherwise it will just look too full on. And if you do feel like you put too much on, just go through with like a blending brush and just keep buffing it out. And what I'm doing is I'm going over virtually the whole eye, apart from this little area there, because I don't want to leave that out, so I'm going to use something a bit lighter there. Okay, so that's that. And then I'm just going to use Painterly. This is MAC as well. I'm just going to use that through this area of the lid. This could be used as like a base, an eye base, if your lids are quite red. I mean, mine generally aren't. Or if you find your eyeshadow moves around a lot, you can use it. But just because I want that to look quite a bit lighter, I've put a base on first. And then I'm just going to use rice paper, because it's light but it's also quite warm. And I'm just mixing it with a little bit of Naked Lunch. And you might have noticed my nails. Can you see them? I'm going to do a link actually to So Hot Right Now, because these are amazing. My friend Belle came round on Tuesday and did them, and they're so cool. I literally love them. They've got like a Chanel sign and a little bow. It's like, oh, amazing. So girly. I'm just knocking things over in excitement. Okay. So now underneath, this brush is 211 and this is MAC. So now with Amber Lights, I'm just going to go in underneath. For the red gold. And that looks quite strong at the minute, so I'm going to blend it out with this, and I'm going to use Casino. And like, don't forget, once it's all defined, it just makes such a difference the minute. It's a bit of a blank canvas. She always has a lot of highlighter in the corner here as well. So what I would use for that is This is Luna. This is a highlighter by MAC. It's a cream one. And you're just going to sort of place it in the corner of your eye and then just blend it out. So you can use it there, and you can also use it in these areas to highlight. Okay. And then in the Bobbi Brown palette, I'm just going to use this top one here. This is nice and light. Just to go in over the top. Just keep it really light and fresh in there. And if you don't have the Bobbi Brown ones, there is one by 17 which is really similar, which is like this one, so that's great. And you know, if you don't have either of those, you can just use a shimmery eyeshadow that's maybe got like, sometimes I find white just can look a bit too full on, so if it's got a little bit of pink to it, that looks a bit softer, that's quite nice. Or even, you know, if you're quite dark skinned, you can use a hint of yellow. So just see what you've kind of got and experiment. You'll be able to tell if it doesn't look right. Right, okay. So I'm just going to curl my lashes. Now basically what I'm going to do is with the same colour that I use on my brows, which is embark, I'm just using a flat brush, but I'm just wetting it on a baby wipe first, because what that does, it kind of creates a little bit of a liquid liner with the powder and it being slightly wet. And then I'm just going to go under here right into the lash line. We don't want it to look like liner, but we just want it to look defined, because that's what like Kim always has. And she's got really incredible lashes. But obviously on a strip lash, you have the bit that defines at the top. So when you put them on, you've instantly almost got like an eyeliner put in place. So that's what you kind of want to create on the bottom, a really soft line. Like that. Okay. And now I'm going to go on to liquid liner. I'm using Black Track by MAC. She has quite a thick line, I've noticed. And then just go in with the black, and remember just to take off as much as you can with the brush, so you've only just got a tiny little bit, so there's not too much to go wrong. And if you think you're going to blink, just pull away, but that, you know, you've got the line just there. And then I always find it's better to like look down, put your head back. Go in and do the rest, just gradually. And then every now and then just look and check that it's all looking okay. Okay, now sometimes she has a flick, sometimes she doesn't. I'm not going to do a massive flick, but I'm just going to do a tiny little one. But again, if you're a bit nervy, just use, I'm actually just using, this is just an eyebrow pencil, it's spiked. And the reason this is actually quite good to draw guidelines in, because it's quite firm. So now I'm going to put my mascara on, because then we'll see how it's looking. We can always go over and do a bit more, but it's easier to do it that way than the reverse. Scandaleyes, this is a waterproof mascara from Rimmel. So I'm just going to try this out. It's got a really big brush, which I thought would be good for Kim, because she always had like sort of big fluttery lashes. So you don't want to like cake it on, because she doesn't have, if you look, she doesn't have loads of mascara on, she just has them quite defined. So sometimes I don't always go right to the end of my lower lashes, because I actually personally don't like the look of them being too long, so I feel like a camel. But you know, with her it just looks uber cool. And you might like it, you might not. Just see how you get on. Okay, so what I am going to do is just shade in the socket area slightly. So I'm just going to use something really soft. I don't want it to be dark, because again, everything with her is very soft and really well blended and really beautiful. So we're just going in this area here, and I'm using Symmetry. So it's just going to give a little bit of natural contour into the eyes. Right, and now I've heard that Kim uses red cherry lashes, and I'd imagine these would be the ones that she would use if she does, because like again, they look really fluttery. These are #WSP. And you can get them from Eyelashes.com, so we'll put a link up to them. They're fantastic. They supply me all the time with different lashes, and they have done for like maybe 18 months now. I'm just using Duro Glue, and you could also buy the Duro Glue from the same website. They're just really good, really efficient. You get your products really quickly. Okay, so I've done the other eye, and I'm just having a look, and I feel like I'm a little bit too pale. So I think this colour was perfect before I went on like 3 holidays, and now I feel like I need to be a little bit darker. So I'm just going to go over the top with a slightly darker shade. I'm just going to mix in a little bit of, this is NC30, but it's Pro Longwear, so I'm just going to use a squeeze of that. It's a MAC product, but it's not the same as the like Studio Fix Fluids and everything. It's a bit more longer lasting, and I'm mixing it with the NC30 that I used earlier. This product, which is really nice and creamy inside. Looks a bit of a mess, but I'm always a little bit digging brush. I'm gonna let that set for a second onto my lips. So she always has really amazing defined lips, and they're always like a lovely shade of nude. So this lip pencil is Spice. Now go easy with this because it can come out quite dark. I don't want it to be too dark. So nice and light. And I'd say exaggerate your lips as much as you can because she's got quite full lips. Kim. This is 700, this is Nude Delight, and it's a Rimmel product. She's Lovely. And then I'm just going to go over the top with a little bit of Florabundance. This is MAC and it's lip gloss. So I think those lips are quite spot on for Kim. Okay, so now I'm just going to go back in quickly and just highlight. So at the minute I really am enjoying my Bobbi Brown highlighting palette, but like I said earlier, you can use other ones. I just kind of go in and swipe those two lighter ones and then dust around this area with a big brush. She also has nice highlighting here above the cheekbone. Just run the excess along your nose. It's funny how you feel like confident in, you know, you might feel more confident in like a lighter foundation, like the Wake Me Up Rimmel. I feel more comfortable when I've got a thick, heavier base on. Like when I was just having doing the other eye, me and Natalia were just talking about this, like she doesn't wear a lot of makeup and she feels more comfortable like that, and I feel more comfortable when I've got more on. And it really is so personal, so that's why, you know, use different products, play around, and it's not, there's no rules, it's just like whatever you feel more comfortable wearing. And the good thing is with that, what I was saying earlier about Kim, is just using a really nice primer, because whatever you put on top, then you know you've got a really nice base and then the finish is going to be smooth. So now, just to finish off, I'm going to do my contour my cheeks. I'm using Sun Power. This is really quite warm, but her cheeks always do look quite warm. So just dust. And the reason I've done that before I've put Prep and Prime on is because I do that quite a lot actually. I don't really like to put Prep and Prime on the whole face if I want something to be quite strong. In fact, I want the cheeks to be quite strong. I want them to grip the foundation, so the fact that this foundation is still a little bit moist, it'll grip much better. If you put Prep and Prime on, then the powder, it just doesn't sit as well, I find, personally. Obviously everybody wants to do things different. So I went to a MAC party last week and met Pixie Woo, which was great to meet those two, Sam and Nikki. And I went with my friend Michael Ashton. He does Adele's makeup, and it was a great event. We got a little bit lost getting there, and then we finally got there, and we got chatting to those guys, and she said, oh, she likes to do a Towie tutorial, so I sent her a few images of makeup that I've done. And today she's just put on her channel a Amy Childs makeup, which was inspired by my makeup, the picture I sent her. So that was really cool, really nice. And I've tweeted it, so if you follow me, you can have a look. And also, lots of people have been saying I should do a blog. And I've just started one this morning, and the first blog post is about my nails, so yeah, check that out. We'll do a link to that too. And what I'm using now is Beauty UK, which again was in the giveaway because lots of people said, oh, can you use products that you gave away? So this is Rose Pink. It's quite similar to the Shurima one that I use a lot, but much cheaper. And I'm just using it with a Japanese brush, but you know, any sort of soft, smallish brush, just over the top, just not, you're not going over where you've just contoured, just literally going on top of it, just to add a real hint of colour. Don't want it to be really pink, just like a slight accent. And if you feel like you've put too much on, just go back over. Okay. So I will just put a little bit of prep and primer down my T-zone now, so look a little bit shiny. Right, done. And that's everything. So that is my Kim Kardashian inspired makeup.